I'm still looking at Bianco, and I'm not thrilled with his decision to get mixed up with that Riverside election situation, because I think that's the thing that's going to cost Bianco the nod when we get to the other side of the first week of June. It was a well-intentioned misstep brought on by a handful of gadflies continuing to insist that they had privileged knowledge that they did not have. And it's going to end up with egg on his face, which is a shame. And I think that plays to Steve Hilton's advantage, not that he needed any big ups, but at this point, it seems that it would be prudent for Republicans to start to fall into line behind a candidate. Now, as we head towards June, the only Democrat who is consistently in this moment polling shoulder to shoulder with Hilton and Bianco is Javier Becerra. Katie Porter, who the party wants, is not going to be it. Tom Steyer, for all the money he's pouring into this thing, not going to be it. And to my disappointment, Matt Mahan is also not going to be it. I thought of all of the Democrats, Mahan would be the one to drag the Overton window in the correct direction for moderates. Not to say that I was rooting for a Democrat to win this election. We've seen what has happened to California after decades of Democrat rule. That was one of the big themes last night at the Lincoln-Reagan dinner. The consequences of Democrats having total control. Look what's happened to California. Look what's happened to New York. Look what's happened to Portland, Seattle, so on. But I think that Mahan could have gotten moderates to listen to and to actually hear and attach themselves to the points being made, not by the knuckleheads in the room, the people that are going to aggressively court the extreme progressives, but rather to talk to the moderates that need to be brought back into this race. Because I think that when the moderates come back in, by whatever mechanism, and in November, they're looking at a choice between California status quo, which means more poverty, more taxes, less infrastructure support, worse cost of living. Let's go down the list. Or Steve Hilton, it would be a very easy choice. But in terms of changing anybody's mind, I'm struggling because I don't want to be the cynic. That's right, I just said that out loud. I don't want to be the cynic. I want for our candidates, especially for higher offices, but truthfully for any office, I want our candidates to speak the truth. I want our candidates to talk about things not in 10-second sound bites designed to provoke a reaction from the morons on Twitter. The sooner that we get politicians away from the idiocy of social media, the sooner that we can put behind us the threat of more Zoran Mondamis and AOCs slithering into office in whatever incarnation they take around the country. I don't want to hear the cute quips. I don't want to hear the convenient sound bites. I also don't really want to listen to the culture war dog whistles from either side. I'm completely fatigued by people attempting to secure or attempting to hang on to a role of authority in government, talking about things that are none of the government's damn business. And whether that's who you love, whether that's what you smoke, whether that's what kind of gun you want to shoot, whether that's where you want to go camping, I am exhausted by the endless encroachment of the government into everyday life. And if there's anything that was missing in last night's debate, it was a clear, full-throated pushback on the endless policing of personalities over the legislating through principle. And it's going to be one of the great challenges, no matter who gets into that office. If they aren't willing to go as far left as Gavin Newsom, if they aren't willing to play that inside baseball, like Newsom, like Brown, like Pelosi, like Feinstein, Sacramento is going to be an absolute it's really easy. You're gonna look at the candidates and you're gonna pick a name with an R after. And while I'm not a party line voter by nature, in the case of Sacramento, I think that going party line, voting Republican, is the correct thing to do. Not because, yay, Republicans, but because we've had enough of the Democrat supermajority. The consequences of single-party rule in California are all around you. And while candidates for governor or current governors who want to be candidates for president of the United States try to hang our cost of living around Donald Trump's neck because of a war that hasn't been going on with a couple less Democrats to Sacramento. But the matter is, your cost of living is insane. Either party ultimately has all of the answers. But while we're in the process of getting back to that state of equilibrium, where we all agree that we wish to pursue a more perfect union, where we all agree that we want to see everybody to have opportunity to succeed or to fail on the merit of their own effort, their own determination, where we head in a direction where our seniors are protected, where the least amongst us are cared for not through government compulsion or entitlement, but through a society that is willing to look out for the people who cannot look out for themselves. However, let's break this stranglehold that ridiculous left-wing nonsense has on Sacramento, because it's not working out. If you're on your way through the valley right now through Los Angeles, honest to goodness, is the place that you just left any better? Is it any better than anything else you've seen on your drive through California? Of course it's not. Yes, it's very pretty at night. I have to give you that. You get up on a hillside, and Los Angeles really is pretty to look at. Not as pretty as San Francisco, but it is pleasant to view through the evening air. And yet the cost of living there is outrageous. Nearly as bad as the Bay Area. Crime, homelessness, addiction, public response to emergencies. Hello, Palisades. So no, none of the gubernatorial candidates said anything that was going to change my mind. And I didn't expect them to. What they did do is they successfully reminded me that what's happening in Sacramento has to stop. All right, when we get back, the White House seems to believe that they're getting close to an agreement with Iran, not on a comprehensive conclusion, but...
Checking the South Valley in Porterville, we have a stalled vehicle westbound State Route 190 at the State Route 65 connector. West of Goshen, we have a hit-run accident, Avenue 264, Road 44. And here in Fresno, we still have reports of a brush fire on the side of the roadway at the McKinley Avenue on-ramp to northbound 41. I'm Michael Reed, KMJ Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindsphere.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle.
Somewhere up ahead, huh?
Buying custom blinds shouldn't be complicated or stressful. That's why we make it simple and affordable. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Ordering takes minutes, installation is easy, and we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Hey, Dad, have you thought about what we talked about?
You mean Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management? Modern sounds complicated.
Look, you've got money, but it's all over the place. That's complicated, and your money could be working smarter for you. Thiessen-Duker uses advanced software designed to analyze how your different assets can work together toward your goals. You'd be surprised what a few simple adjustments can make. A lot of other advisors don't even use this technology.
And it wasn't complicated?
Thiessen-Duker made it simple, and now my accounts are streamlined too. I go to Thiessen-Duker.com, click on the Account View tab, and I can see all my accounts in one place.
Oh, your mom would love that.
Yeah, and so will you. That's what Thiessen-Duker can do for you.
Modern Wealth Management. I'm in, son.
Just visit Thiessen-Duker.com and give them a call.
The advisors of Thiessen-Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Hey, it's CG for my friends Paul and Tracy. They're the owners and the creative force behind Resort Lifecards. You know, there's an old phrase in the restaurant industry: good food, bad service, you're not coming back. Average food, great service, you're going to come back for another trip.
us soon.